South at Central State. I tried to make it just simple to look up. But yeah, the provost just told us, like, after y'all's class Thursday, he said, first and second year classes, the research is everyone's failing online. So that's why I'm always here in person every day. You guys could have COVID or any other contagious disease. So if you really are good with what you do, sign in that way. That's for student loans. Any of y'all taking a student loan?
So how long does that have to be?
This, in the syllabus, it says like 2 to 3 pages.
Like the word count?
Word count, usually, what is that, like 700 to 900? Like 2 to 3 pages. So not much.
Okay.
But just like, yeah, read some articles. What social workers did you all see on TV?
I was watching a show called Shameless, and it was like a family of like 8 living in this one house, and something had happened, and they were ending up losing their house, and then the social worker had came in, and it was just the way they had like, this is gonna sound mean and like evil. They just had like total power over everything, and like.
Well, you do, and that's why, yeah, we'll get into the
Yeah.
ethics and like. So yeah, social workers do have a lot of
You understand this?
important stuff. What is that? Oh,
That's her.
oh, your document.
Cause I'm just go take the picture, just go come on here.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you do have access to Word for the second one. That's why I was seeing you guys upload this Word. Because Central offers you guys like access to Word.
Mhm.
Google Docs you give it to you also. So yeah, it's papers and all that fun stuff in social. And yeah, this is straight out of the syllabus. So assignment 1, not due until next month, September, but next month is next week, right? That's the tricky part. This one? It's called Social Work as a Career Paper. So,
It's a paper.
yeah, like you'll do a search, everything in social work's a paper. You almost find that out, like, just because that's what we do. We write notes. You see a client, you write a narrative. You go see a family, you write it. You see a probation officer, it's always writing. So we get you ready for it here. And this is like search what a social work career is, what you need to know, what is social work. Ooh. I often go to Google Scholar, so it is. Yep.
Oh, next month is.
So if you guys ever use Google Scholar, this is where you can search like social.
Oh, yeah, I found out, I learned how to use our.
You have Word.
That was horrible. I wish I knew that all.
This is partly why I
Yeah, I
have
got
it,
Word.
so
Yeah. Okay. So open Word.
so it won't turn into an emergency for you guys at the last minute. That's the key.
Is it due next week? Next week?
The first paper is you can do the attendance now.
Monday, is it due Tuesday or Thursday?
So it's due September 1st.
Okay, that's Thursday.
I
We
think
gotta-
so.
We gotta print it out.
No, you turn it in right into D2L. So you'll go into assignments under D2L and you upload it there. So you guys go into these, usually like course activities has assignments.
So do you want intake citations or do you want a source? Bibliography?
So in social work, we do always American Psychological Association. And I bet in high school you guys were taught MLA, right? So again, we're getting you used to, APA is,
So you do want a source page, it just has to be an APA.
it says references, correct,
Okay.
at the end. So like, here's all the stuff I've published. I had to learn how to write in APA. So like these are all APA style or can't get published. And at the end, you'll do Oh yeah, this is why Google Scholar is so amazing. If you cite something, all you gotta do is click cite APA. Boom. There it is. And so inside the paper you might write Trouth 2017 and then at the end you put that in references. Did any of you guys get APA in high school? It's not much different from MLA. It's just because look, here's MLA right here. Like it's not that much different. And here you can just copy and paste it from Google Scholar. So I go to scholar.google.com and that's the shit right there. You just can copy it and you paste it into the end of the paper. So when I wrote this article, if I didn't write it APA, they would not even accept it. They'd be like, thanks for trying. You're rejected. And this was to a journal. So any other questions about that first assignment?
I kind of missed it all. I'm in the syllabus looking for it though.
Right, it's called Social Work as a Career Paper. So you're in the exact right spot. You're doing better than 90% of folks. 'Cause,
You said social work and career?
yep, it's called the Social Work as a Career Paper.
Okay, I see it. Social career.
Hello.
Can we turn this light off?
Sure. Sure.
Can't speak.
Hi. You guys good? Did you get it in? You're about to. You're feeling confident.
Yeah.
You're going to get this done. Yes.
I have a question. How are you taking attendance? Because I didn't see I'm still on the roster.
On the roster.
Are you ready to get on a
Usually,
piece of paper?
usually, does somebody not think you were in the roster?
Why are we in?
A few of my classes.
Look at this stuff.
So here's the class list. I always look on here.
Hell no.
What's your last name?
Oh, Han. I'm right there.
You wanna go
I'm
do this
Hosty, by the way.
Sweet.
We can do this online.
So after I told you guys that, the provost said all 100 and 200 level classes should be in person. If you're good at doing work, like I always say this, here's your all's assignment. So it looks like all of you are bad at doing work on this because nobody turned in the first assignment.
Hey, I didn't know we had.
It's attendance.
Oh, attendance.
What do we have
So you write in a Word document, I'm here, and then you're done.
Okay, let me do that right now. You scared me.
Well, that's the idea.
Can we get full points though? Cause I did not see that.
I could probably forgive you guys.
Yeah, come on, this time around.
No, it-
You said nobody turned it in?
Nobody, and that's okay.
It
It was a test of the emergency alert system. I was just trying to see.
I didn't get that for
It's okay.
Reply yes for attendance.
And then the second one isn't due until September, but guess when?
Bye, Mr. Trump. I'm about to go take some more medicine.
So are you guys for real good at doing your work?
If I'm not, you'll see me.
So we just went over the first paper. It's filmed on YouTube.
And when is that due?
September 1st.
Man, let me take that in today.
A paper, a paper.
So don't forget, yes, there's always
Thank
papers
you,
in social
beautiful.
work. See you later.
Alrighty, have a good one.
So if you're good at doing work, but like I said, the provost said, first year and second year, the research shows if you do the online class, you would fail. Like most people fail. I would fail. You sure? All right.
What you mean online?
So, yeah, I think you can log in online.
Correct. So you can go to Dr. Trouth at Central State. It's a YouTube channel. And then, okay, we got Lover Girl wants to know, what is the first assignment? So Lover Girl, we got social work as a career paper, and that's right in the syllabus. So the key is you download the syllabus. Here's what it looks like. It should be the same as what the syllabus says.
How do you spell, can you tell me how to spell your name?
Dr. Trouth at Central State is Trauth.
T-R-A.
Mm-hmm. So usually every 2 or 3 weeks we'll have one of these papers and they just get bigger and bigger, like 2 to 3 pages, then 3 to 4, then 4 to 5. We do have a presentation. You'll be good. You just gotta like slowly hack away at it. Did you guys have to write papers in high school?
Well, my freshman year, yeah, but like, once COVID came, we stopped doing that.
That's unfortunate though, because that's unfortunate because that's like 2 or 3 years of writing you guys didn't get to practice. Are you a social work major?
Hey, your title is doctor, correct? Alright. How you spell your last name?
It's TRAUTH. So in social work, most of what we do is writing. You see a client, you write. You go do a home visit, you see their probation officer, you go, do an intervention, you write. So that's why you're always writing papers and like learning. And you guys will get good at it. Is everybody a social work major?
No.
I'm a psychology major.
That's right. Because I was saying you could easily double up with no problem. You can double social work and psych, and you barely. Is this like the same coursework lined
It's like
up?
all the prereqs for a long week.
It's all the same. And with social work, you get a license. So, and psych, I have a degree in psych. So that's the only reason I say it. Like I have experience with this. I finished with a psych degree. I couldn't find a job far and wide. It'd be like, I'll give you $10 an hour to watch kids. And I'd be like, huh? I don't want $10 an hour.
Before I transferred to Central, my original major was nursing.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Like, so after I graduate in May, I want to go get my nursing license.
I've always told people both, even a combination of nursing and social work is awesome because you could be like a psychiatric nurse then and make the big bucks.
And when you go into like going to get your nurse license without going straight into it, all you have to do is an 18-month program regardless of, I would rather than doing this other route.
The whole bachelor's. Did you have a question? I know you had your.
What you said to do for this attendance?
Oh, if you're here, just write your name on a piece of paper. If one of you has a piece of paper, like start it up. If you're doing remote, I always discourage it because it says, oh no, say Aaliyah. Okay. Lover girl, sorry. Aaliyah. I hope that answers your question. Let's see here. So that's the first assignment. When I started doing work in social work, I did my dissertation's on a refugee resettlement program. Have I told you guys that? What's that? Are you a social work major?
Yeah.
That's all it.
That's all I already know. I'm like,
So we could do multiple choice, but I feel like
Let's
that's
do that.
yeah, how about we mix it up?
It's an intro class.
Right, how about we mix it up?
because literally whenever I would do multiple choice tests, everybody failed them. Essays you can like rewrite because you got to get the book, you got to study, you got to, it's just not the same. For whatever reason, everybody would fail it because there is a right or wrong answer in essays.
How about you do both?
I can give you answers and explanations. Like that would be what's on the licensure exam your senior year, and that way you guys know what to look for on the licensure exam. Because in social work, you have an internship at the end of your 4 years, so you learn how to do social work. You work for somebody for a semester, and there are some paid you could apply for. I did all mine unpaid. Usually, when you do be an intern, you're just learning and you're not very good at what you do. So, but you put it on your resume. You say what you did.
I had one of those.
Did you?
Semester I dropped it though because they had it on the Saturday at 9 a.m.
It was here at Central?
That was the thing.
Oh, okay.
That would be worse.
Right.
I had signed up for it last semester. I didn't know from on Saturday. They put my senior year, it was
Right.
I wasn't gonna set myself up for failure.
All right. So when I worked with refugees, I want to show you guys just a quick clip of some of the stuff that we did, if this wants to work for me. We did horticulture therapy and refugee resettlement. Folks from Burundi, Africa that were post-Civil War. And the main thing they wanted was a space to grow their own food and then an English class. Oh, it works good. Okay. That's in Cincinnati. It's our garden. We built it up in Cincinnati.
hamwe abandi bari kuvomera abandi bakaronka bavoma. Amazi n'usobanura.
Erega nibyo bitworoheye.
Hey.
So they're like Central Africa. Most of them are from right there. Those are Kroger bags, like they sewed up. Hello. How's it going? Good. So the teenagers made this documentary to like kind of talk about coming over from Burundi, Africa, and living in Cincinnati.
Hi everyone, my name is Charlotte, and today I'm going to talk about videos that you'll be watching in a few minutes. First, let me tell you about the Burundians in their early life. I don't really know that much about them, but I'll share what I know, and I hope that you learn more as you watch these videos. Burundi, it's a small country that located in East Africa, which is the first country in Africa, also in the world. In 1972, a war happened between two Africans, which caused everyone to move from the country. Lots of families suffered during the war. Some of the families were here in the United States, and some of them are still back in Africa. Others are around the world. At this moment, you're going to watch the videos, and I hope you enjoy them just as we create them for you.
Twarakina twarasimba igihe hageze mu ci aho rero bagize rero baruhutse baramba twarasimba nk'inuze twarakina sana twarakina agapira twarabaga imipira iyo isanzwe cyane hariho ibindi twimba ku musozi ibintu bita ibigaru twarabyimba tukabisekura tukabibumba mu mupira ugakubita gutyo ukadundika nibyo twagira nibyo twakina imipira hari ibiti ibindi biti bita iminyango nibyo twarabizingazinga tukabivanga mu mipira aho nibyo twatera twagiza gukina nibyo twakina nayo imipira nk'iyi yari isanzwe arakinira mu ibarabara aho mwagize ngo mu giharuharo igihe cyo muci cyane cyane ivumbi rigatumuka abana twakunda akantu k'akavumbi nk'ugasanga ni byiza kabisa
muri 67 bariho narongora mu kwa gatatu itariki zimwe tubana n'umugore muri icyo gihe twarabanye hageze mu kwezi kwa 10 ndabatizwa uyu mwaka nyine wa 67 maze kubatizwa turi kumwe n'umugore turagenda igihanga turabatizwa misiyoni nkuru amaze kubatizwa hasi badusezeranya n'umugore 68 ubwo n'umwana ahita arabatizwa
imfungurwa twaririmira n'amaboko yacu
hanyuma barangura kuko papa iwacu bari abantu bafise inka urumva arareba kwirirwa inyuma y'inka nagarukiye mu mwaka wa 3 arangura ati mwana wanje wewe ugume hano uzoragira inka nzogurira imashini nzobarira nuko nta kintu ndemera urumva ntibashobora kwagira abavyeyi bo ndakuraho nkura ndagira inka
hari mu kwezi kwa kane hari ku munsi wa gatandatu mu ntara ya Rumonge yatanguye saa sita y'izuba muri provinsi Bujumbura itangura isaha 4 z'ijoro kandi abayitanguye nabari ku butegetsi
ubwo bwoko bwari buhari ariko muri ico gihe bwaradutse ivyo byazanywe n'umuperezida yari ahari yitwa Micombe
abasoda batangura kwihereza ibisagara
barondera Gatumba bakarondera iki akantu kiki k'ubwoko ariko
bagenda bitsa abo bidasangiye ubwoko kugira ngo bagumeho bonyine
ati warubatse inzu ziboneka bavuga ngo ariko bariya abantu bariya amafaranga bayakuye kandi bakarungika aba bazi bureka kugenda mwicibariye ngo bariya no kugenda mukabica ngo bariya ngo nibo bariye intuze amafaranga y'igihugu bakaza bagafata urugo mbese bwari nk'ubwoko bakaza bagatera ku rugo bakabica
numva mama tubwira ko abatutsi bahiga abahutu bakabatera ibinyenzenye ibisito by'imigano bakabisogota abagore bafite inda. Hello again. You just watched a short video of the Burundian community. As you saw, the war was a tragedy for the Burundian. The effects of the war still continue to this very day, as Burundi have the second highest number of refugees in the world. But there's more to the Burundian story besides the war. We try to show you that in the first part of the video. But there's so much more to discover about the Burundians. And I hope that you will take your time to learn more about us. Thank you.
All right, so these are some of the teenagers that helped make the video. One of them, they had me be the godfather, so it was not Gerald, but Alex. So this was one of my first internships actually in the MA in Theology and Pastoral Ministry. There he is, actually graduated from UC. Did cheerleading, got a scholarship through graduate school, so that was kind of cool. But imagine, having to learn the language of another people. Any of you guys speak another language? And that's one of the hardest things working with others is communicating with them, even if we both speak English. You know what I mean? Like you guys read the syllabus and you're like, what do we have to do? When's the assignment due? How do we do it? So we're speaking English, but it's still lots of questions. You know what I mean? So learning how to work with folks of a different language. Some of my articles were written about that. So that was my dissertation, and then also my master's thesis I wrote on the counseling model for refugees, rooted ecological theory, and then also newly resettled refugees. So there's a lot to be said there. Now that is just one population that we work with as social workers. I know we finished up chapter 1, and that's why the paper is not due until next week. We do about a chapter each week. So this is the last few slides on chapter 1. It's about social work, social welfare, and society. Why, those of you who are doing a major in the helping profession, why did you guys pick it? Like I know 2 of you said psychology, the others were social work. Why are you doing helping professions instead of like business or statistics or math or something?
I was in psychology because I want to work with like kids because like as a kid, for one in middle school, I was in the counselor's office probably every single day.
Okay.
So
In Cincinnati?
Huh?
In Walnut or in?
No, I'm from Canton,
Okay.
Ohio.
Okay.
I just feel like I would be able to like understand them and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'll be good at it. And I was working with kids over the summer at the daycare, but it was younger kids, but I'm good with kids, so.
That's good, yeah. And in social work, you would have like, that would be like your internship, you know what I mean? If you did, how many weeks were you there? Like 40-hour weeks for 10 weeks?
I was there for 8 months for like probably like 30 hours a week.
Okay. So like April, May, June, July, August, however long that was.
Yeah, from January to August.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you said 20, 30 hours a week? That would finish your internship. So yeah, in social work, that's one of the things that we do. I wonder if this is that's very interesting. Oh, the cord came out. Interesting. Okay, there we go. So anybody else, why do you want to do the helping professions? What interests you about helping professions? There's no wrong answers. I just ask because that's what the next paper is about. And it'll help you get to know why, like why am I in here? Why am I doing this? No wrong answer. You get paid for it too. It's a job. I remember hearing people say like, well, all social work will do is take your kids. You ever heard that one?
Yes.
So it's halfway true and really not true. There's so many things you can do. Right. Now, if the kid's unsafe and mom's shooting heroin in the bathroom, he ain't eating any food for 3 days.
Right.
You want to get him a meal and a warm place to live. That's usually the only time you place kids, but you try to get them back as a family. Because no matter who or where or how kids are taken or placed, you're always going to seek out your biological family. And we found that out. Like no matter what your circumstances are growing up, you're going to go back to find out where you came from. Because it's a natural thing. Like I've even visited my, like the house I was born in, the house I grew up in. You know what I mean? It's like nostalgic. You're like, holy crap, I was born there. And I've even gone to where my ancestors were from Germany, not Ireland yet though. Half are from Ireland, half are from Germany. So it's just, you're like, why did they? I guess most of them left during World War I and World War II because it was like bad, just like they all left. So in that documentary, you saw they left because there was a civil war. And there's not safe places, there's not enough food. And so as a social worker, you work as an agent of change, agent of social control on behalf of society, a reformer of society, separate from society, and then also intermediary between individuals and society. So if it is the kid hungry, yeah.
You can go into therapy, like therapy is under social work, right?
Absolutely. And that's what I was wrong about. I thought I had to get a psychology degree and I had to become a psychologist. But social work was the quicker route to become a therapist. We got bachelor's, license, master's. I didn't even know. In psychology, you have to get a doctorate. As far as I know, it could have changed.
You gotta go that far?
Yeah. To get a license. So I was about to go. I ended up getting my doctorate anyway, but is that what your major is?
No, mine is social work.
Okay. Social work is good. Like I said.
I did have psychology first, but I was doing psychology so I can become a therapist.
Right. That's why I always say double up so you have the option. You'll still finish on time. Their check sheet almost looks like ours. Do you guys have the psychology check sheet? All of this stuff. It's like the same on this side.
I just got my social work check sheet.
Okay. And then there's basically only 12 social work classes in your internship. So psychology already makes you take a couple of them, I think. I think intro is one. I feel like a few others. And that's why I'm like, just double major. I double majored. It sounds scary, but you're like, oh my gosh, I'm already doing all this. Why wouldn't I get credit for it? So anyway, you guys can obviously choose how you want. We do work on empowerment in social work, so that's another big piece. So anybody know what empowerment means? Oh, It's a big word. I think so. So yeah, we always talk about empower people so they can empower themselves. So I want to empower you to empower yourself, like try to set you up so you can be successful and do what you want and need and like figure stuff out. You know what I mean? Like figure out if it's going to help them with personal things, if it is therapy. If it's interpersonal, maybe it's like relationship counseling. Political, maybe it is getting access to resources, food, housing, water, shelter. And we'll start with those, as that's when most folks come to us. And then also the dual focus, psychological control and then socio-political change. So any questions on those? That's like the tail end of chapter 1 at this point. It's kind of a long haul to get through, but it's like that intro to social work stuff that we all have. And last chapter with empowerment and social work. This is big. We always focus on client strengths. I remember that in psychology, they kind of had me diagnose people and like see them as mentally ill, which can be true. But I did like social work had a focus on strengths. So like, sure, you might have depression, which is mental illness or even anxiety. And then what? You know, that's not all that defines you. You have a lot more than that. You have a lot of gifts. Like you're a unique individual with God-given talents. And in social work, we work collaboratively. We critically reflect on structural arrangements. So like if the system is bad, which like an example of that right now, think of inflation. Any of you guys notice how much everything's getting? Not at all. Are you paying for your own way right now, like food, housing, water, shelter, and like
Gas.
gas?
I mean, it's starting to come back down a little bit.
This is they took the federal tax off. You're right. So you aren't noticing it yet. Have you done? Sometime like when I was in college. What's that?
I said, I noticed it.
It's weird. Is it's like a slow boil? It'll be like, what's that? Why are they doing it? So, okay, you ask a very complicated question I could give you an answer for, but ultimately, you guys might not remember it, but when we got the stimmy checks, it was for adults only. I don't know if you guys were adults when that happened. So what's that? So it was fun getting the stimulus check. However, they printed 50% of the U.S. supply of money into existence in the past 2 years.
Dang, 50%.
So there used to be like 3 or 4 trillion in circulation, and now we have about $7 trillion in circulation. So if all those dollars go for the same good, what do you think would happen to the goods that you're buying? Because there's twice as many dollars now chasing the same gas, that same rent, that same food. It was, for a moment, it was okay. It's like, cool, I got money. But it was created out of thin air. They just printed that money off like student loans. And I'm sure somebody has created some things. Have you guys learned about the Federal Reserve System in the United States? I mean, that's where it gets complicated. But like, go ahead.
The rising gas, it didn't have nothing to do with like the stuff with going on with Russia and stuff, with like cutting off the oil or something like that.
Actually, mostly no, it didn't. Because like actually we were self-sustaining on oil. We didn't even import that much until really this year and last year. Like we were getting a lot from fracking. Let's see, actually that was the first thing that came up, which was funny. I just typed in Google and that was the first thing. Well, that was part of it. $1,400 stimulus checks went to some that may not need them. So that was part of it. There's one about, wow, that was just 2 months ago. The next recession. So, and this is getting geopolitical, but you're right. Russia had a pipeline that mostly fed oil into Europe. So like Germany, Ireland, maybe. I don't know if they got Russian oil, but I would think they're closer than the United States is. Is gas expensive in Ireland? I guess you wouldn't remember unless.
No, it wasn't. I mean, maybe it is now. but
Right,
it wasn't.
right. So like in the US, 2 years ago, we paid $1.50 a gallon and like $2 a gallon. Right now, I don't even know how much is it. Is it like 4 or is it under 4? Okay, $3.50. I have an electric car. That's the only reason I've cheated for many years and plugged my car into solar panels at my house. So I haven't bought any gas for 2 years now. But it's gotten expensive because there is something called peak oil happening. So that is funny though, that's the first thing that comes up. Why stimulus checks are bad.
I swear, Google be tripping.
What'd you say?
Google be knowing everything.
Yeah, they was
Well, it's like they're listening to us on this computer. The mic is picking it up. It's creepy.
on an ad on Instagram or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like, why are you minding my business?
Literally.
So there is several videos. Ultimately, if you think of it as like the money that was printed doubled in supply. And we don't know that when we're getting it. We're like, sweet, I got $1,400. I'm going shopping, or I'm going to pay rent, or I'm going to pay my bills. It was helpful because a lot of people were laid off because of COVID. Even like schools had to close down. Even like, how did you guys handle the schools when you had coronavirus? How did that go down for y'all?
Yeah, first got a little hard with the school.
It was weird.
Online was so easy.
That too, yeah.
Because we didn't
Right.
They didn't have to do nothing. And they let us slide with so much.
Yeah, all my classes was college classes.
Were they?
It was
Did you
like-
get credits for it? College
I
credits?
didn't pass a lot of them, so no,
Right.
not really.
Right? So it was bad for education. It was bad for.
And they kept
Not bad.
they kept letting us, especially Wi-Fi excuse.
Which one was Wi-Fi? Oh, that's right. Is they're like, we'll give you free Wi-Fi everywhere.
Yeah.
They get free Wi-Fi, they get food
And they was giving everything.
Right.
I say they was letting us slide with so much.
So think of it from a holistic perspective. Like, how long can that go on for? You know what I mean? It's like food does grow on trees, even though money doesn't grow on trees. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a while to produce that food. And have you seen some of the stuff going on with food production this year? Have you heard any of it? That's a whole nother story. It's getting expensive. So let's see if Google.
Food prices did go up.
Yeah, they do.
My mom was complaining about it. Why is this that much now?
Well, that's another one. Here's one that I don't get that part. But like, so there's droughts and there's also floods and there's also excessive heat and there's also excessive cold. So it's getting hard. Like, it's hard to grow that food. It's hard to like put. I became a vegetarian in 1999, so I haven't eaten meat, but I've heard
Oh, I know you want some meat.
it smells good sometimes. My wife eats it and cooks it for the kids. I'm like, that smells. Skyline chili smells good.
Skyline shit.
Yeah, because it's all spicy.
Why did you make the decision to go vegetarian?
I was living in El Salvador, and like most of them were in poverty, eating beans and rice, and I thought I can do this, so I just had done
So
it.
you just ain't never look back on no chicken, no nothing. No burger.
I haven't eaten any, even not even fish.
But you think it smells good though?
It's the way it's spiced, and you can still spice plants that way.
Yeah.
too.
You know what?
I don't eat pork, but I think pork is something good.
Yeah, my mom's husband don't eat that, so when I be cooking it, he's like, "Oh my god, this
Is that
tastes so
you
bad." Like, he complaining.
Oh, some meat does smell bad. That's true. That's true.
You better ask him, can you give me some turkey pepperoni?
Yeah.
It been what?
So if you guys haven't had me yet, a lot of times I do focus on self-care. And that is like, what's that? Isn't that's a lotus flower? You're right. That's a good one. It's for like meditation. So that is kind of the point of the presentation. What do you do for self-care? How do you guys self-care? Do you eat enough vegetables? Do you drink enough water and hydrate? You know, like things like that. That's what I said. Even when I was vegetarian for 2 years, I ate like pizza, cake, Coke, fries, and it wasn't always the best. So any questions about chapter 1? That's the end of chapter 1. Some of the examples of self-care, I kind of ran through this in my second class Thursday. We do it because burning out in social work can happen to a lot of people. Because you're like, I want to help them, I want to help them, I want to help them. And you're helping everybody but yourself. And so it's important to help yourself first, take care of yourself so you can take care of others. And that's kind of the essence of this PowerPoint to avoid burnout, which is it occurs when people living with others experience of trauma. Burnout refers to exhaustion from emotionally demanding work. People who are burned out will experience depleted energy and decreased effectiveness. Some of the symptoms are like boredom, errors and accidents, impatience, grandiosity even. Here's some of the poor self-care things you do, but I want to get to the thesis of this PowerPoint, which is how do you do self-care? Any of these things you guys do, like yoga, or take a long walk, meditate, pray, talk with a friend, listen to music, take a bath. That's a good one. Anybody else? Any of these? Just so you do self-care, something. You gotta do something.
I'll sit in my car for like 3 hours. Literally.
With the air conditioning on, I guess, because it gets hot.
Sit, lean back.
Right. Do they let you guys be freshmen on campus with cars here? Some schools don't let you bring your car.
Yeah, true.
Because there's too many. There's like 58,000 at Ohio State and 48,000 at Cincinnati. So if they had that many cars, I don't even know where they'd park them.
Yeah.
They'd be like,
At Cincinnati, though, they do let people bring their car.
oh, they did? Okay.
But they were never to park. Ohio State.
They did?
They did.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Ohio State's like the biggest college in the United States.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either them or Texas. They're huge. They're like 58,000 is like how many live in inner city Cincinnati. That's it. We got like a small inner city population, but now everything's gone out to the suburbs.
Yeah. There's like a whole bunch of cities.
Right, like Evanston and yep. Yep. That is a city of Coleraine. You're right, because I live close to that. So anyway, I wanted to get you guys through chapter 1, introduce the assignment. A lot of our stuff can be hybridized and put online. Are you able to access the book okay? Even if you haven't, just try to get on, try to read it. You know, it has a lot of details. What's that? Because it has a lot of good, like, introductory stuff to what social work is. It can be parts of your paper, things of that nature. I just wanted you guys to have all that. And then look, why do we have inflation? Why are stimulus checks maybe good at first, but then really bad at last? Because again, if you had $3 trillion in 2019, and now all of a sudden we printed $3 trillion, so now there's $6 trillion trying to buy the same amount of goods, because we haven't increased our population much at all in America. Our replacement rate, our number of babies born, we're below replacement actually. So we only grow because of immigration, and that'll be another later topic. But those are some of the things you can get into in social work. Trying to think of the next chapter. Social work and social systems. So we'll be getting into the ecological perspective, which is like holistic view of like seeing problems and how they come up and how they occur. So any questions from you guys? guys. Dang, has it already been 45 minutes? How did that happen? Yeah. Time flies when it's all going on. Do you guys keep up on the news of what's going on? And the war is one of them. So we don't even see it or don't get affected by it. So you mentioned Russia, right? So Ukraine and Russia. Gosh, there's,
How long they been beefing?
Damn, that's.
They've been beefing their whole life.
it sounds like it. So one other area is foster care and adoption. So this is one that.
On every vacation at a verbal home, there's someone like you. Who reunited
It's another
with them.
area of social work that's.
Who am I? I'm pretty average. The average age of a kid in foster care. From the majority background of kids in care, having experienced abuse and neglect from those willing to protect me, I am 9 times more likely to commit crimes, 25% more likely to get pregnant as a teenager, and there's a 30% chance that when I have children, I too will abuse them. This is who I am until someone breaks the cycle.
And that might be a social worker, like that's just kind of, we're going to watch these series called Removed, part 1, 2, and 3, and that's about foster care and adoption. There is a few others like The Line, and that was one that came out even when I was still in college. Now it looks like there's several of these. So we'll get into that. More about poverty. So have you guys ever heard of how poverty affects folks and their development? This is the one that we'll watch. But for today, that is all I have. My goal is to go like half in person, half online, put stuff up on D2L. Are you able to access D2L okay? Mm-hmm. Any questions about anything? Anybody re-questioning, like, do I really want to be a social work major? It's okay if you are. We throw the blunt truth out at you, like, we deal with heavy topics.
I mean, maybe because of the essays.
Right? Yeah.
Other than that, though.
But think of it, too. It's like all the people you see, if you wrote their notes in multiple choice or numbers, it want to make sense to somebody else. So we got to learn how to write creatively and effectively. Like those stats you just gave us, like client had parental abuse before getting into the foster care. Parents are in intervention program for domestic violence and anger management. Foster client will be reunified with parents in 3 months if they graduate from the program. So like stuff like that. That's why you're learning how to write efficiently and to cite statistics and all that stuff. And to know about poverty and how like food deserts affect. Did any of you guys grow up in a food desert? I grew up in one. It was called Kennedy Heights, Cincinnati. What's that? Is that where you were from? Do you know where Kennedy Heights is?
No, you just said it like it was bad.
So it's supposed to be sad. You know what food deserts are? It is kind of sad. So basically, if you don't have a car, because Kroger's, right, you can't get your dang food. It is kind of sad. But yeah, it's, let's see here. Let's just do this and then I can let you go. Food, not desserts. What's that? What? So there's one in Memphis. The hunger capital. I wonder why Memphis is a hunger capital. Anybody from Tennessee? That one's new too. And there's a lot of research on these food deserts. Like, what is it? This can give you one in 2 minutes.
3 days only. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Of course, I gotta have a commercial though. Otherwise, they want to. Somebody asked if I monetize my YouTube. Nope, I don't play that way. I hate those commercials.
Unfortunately, the solution isn't always as easy as simply buying better quality food. The USDA estimates that 23.5 million people live in what are called food deserts.
That's like 10%. Huh.
I know what food desert is.
Food deserts are
You're like,
typically
it's-
urban neighborhoods or rural towns without easy access to fresh, healthy, and affordable food.
It's got the corner store. Basically.
Instead of supermarkets or grocery stores, these communities are usually served by fast food or convenience stores. More than half of the population living in food deserts, or 13.5 million people, are considered low income. So it seems that for many people, low quality food is their only choice. This tsunami of low quality food is becoming a global concern. In an effort to stem the effects of some of the most harmful foods, countries like Denmark, Hungary, and Mexico have instituted soda and junk food taxes.
Oh, geez.
This
I
creates
kinda. So anyway, yeah, I grew up in a food desert, and some research is putting like urban farms there and doing different things to. How can we as social workers get people access to healthier foods or grow their own food or to have an urban farm or community garden or something of that nature? So we'll get into that one also. But for today, we have gotten through our piece of the chapter. If you haven't accessed the book yet, definitely do. You guys have your assignment. So it's weird. It's due next month, but it's also due next week.
So what, the 3 pages?
Okay.
Which one?
1.5.
Good. 0.5.
Right, so we had 0.5.
Let's make a
Yeah,
deal.
they don't say that to them.
Are you playing?
I'm glad, I thought you was dead serious.
I won't be in class next Tuesday, or next Friday.
Y'all traveling?
Yeah.
So you can turn in everything on D2L.
Okay.
Have you done that before?
Yeah.
Okay. But if you have any questions, just go ahead and email.
And you can, if you got any questions, you can email my
They always send them letters out. See you guys. Have a good one. Bye. Thank you guys and good to see you. We'll see you on Thursday.